All right, it's time for another weekly Squardle. This is number 173. If you're not familiar with Squardle, it's like Wordle on a grid. We're guessing a row and a column at the same time. This 8 is how many guesses we have remaining. And all this week, I started with food words for Wordle. And so I decided to do a similar thing for the weekly Squardle. And I had asked ChatGPT for some words before, and I asked it for fun food words. And so I thought for this, I would ask it for the best two-word food combo, two-word start. And it decided that grape and mochi are, which I think is like a Japanese rice cake, it looks like. I'm not familiar with that, but Google told me that's what it was. So grape and mochi, we've got the four good vowels. We've got some good consonants in there. So I'm going to start with grape and mochi today. Okay, well, I think that's a good two-word start. The OCH weren't great on this particular puzzle, but you never really know. Okay, so let's see. A and P over here. We also have a P in the row, so we could do a P there potentially. P. A isn't too bad. We have an A in the third row, but not the column, so we don't really have much else to go on for a third guess here. We have an I and an M in the middle, which is kind of interesting. There's an I in the second row and the second column. So we could do... So maybe instead of doing the A there, maybe we should do I, because that is possible. And then the A, like, somewhere else, maybe fourth or something. That's not too bad. I mean, there's no A in the column, but there's an A in the row, so it'd be good to check that potentially. So let's do I and A and new letters. Well, we could do the P actually. Knowing that there's a P in the row and the column, we could do something like pilaf. While we're on the subject of foods, I mean, that seems pretty good. Let's stick with the food word. Why not? Okay, well, that was really good. The P-I-L here. And we got the A and, so now we got the P there. So, I mean, you could still have a P up here, but it's less sure that there's a P. It could be a P here. We could do something with like an S or something. SP, but then the A would have to be here. If the P is second, the A is down here. And that's not great. So I think there's a good chance it's this. And then we could have an I up here. We could do... Oh, but then... That's not great because there's no E. I don't know. Okay, well... We'll come back to that. So right now we're on the fourth row and column, and we've got nothing. We've got nothing to go off of. I mean, we could have an I here, unless... But I think there's a good chance of an I up here. So what would that be? If it's not P-I-P... No E. Well, or we could do something like tipsy. But then, the P is the problem here. We can't do... The P has to be first or second. If the P is here, then it's going to be either an S or a vowel at the beginning. P-I-P... And there's no A or E, so we could also do a U. Puppy? No, we can't do another P. Pupil? No. That's not great. I like the I there. All right, well, we're still on the fourth row and column. If this is PA, what would this be? It could be passe with a double S. I don't know. There's got to be some other things it could be, but I'm not thinking of them because there's no R. All right, well, let's do an S because it's possible that this is like an SP up here as well. S is good. And then from there, I mean, we could do SM because we have the yellow M here. So that could be good because the M is not first or second. It has to be fourth or fifth. So let's do SM. This is an interesting one too. This third column, PIL. Can't be A. Can't be O, obviously. Could have another L potentially. Otherwise, maybe an E. Maybe we do SME. That could be. What we could do smelt. We haven't done T yet. Let's go with that. Okay. Well, we're making some progress. It could be passé. Piler or piled. It could be a D or an R. Or an S, piles, I suppose. There's no L. We found the M. This is probably anime or anima, but we do have an E. Anime is pretty good. What's gonna be here? We've got a P. So SP, something like splay, but then input, ETR. That's not great. This could also be an S or a D, but those aren't great either. This is interesting with the M here, because it's not an S before the M, so it's almost got to be a vowel, but it can't be an A or an E or an O. Umami? Could we have... No, we can't have an M down here. If it's not you, I mean, we could have an I. Image, because we need to have the E, and we do need a G somewhere. Image. So then is it... Oh, we could do pupil. Pupil on something. We need... Well, this would have to be an I then. Siege. Unpin. Maybe? And then ended and splayed and laid with a anima. That's possible. All right, let's go laid. Let's see, is there any possible way to do it? If these are right, is there any way to do it in 4 guesses? I'm guessing not. Because we have to do first row or column for the P, second row or column for the N, fourth for the G, fifth for the D. So we got to have those 5. And we can't do the D and the Y on the same guess. So yeah, it's going to take 5 guesses. So let's just do the columns. Ooh. It's not... Oh, is it an R? Ender and layer? Oh, I should have... I don't have an R anywhere. I should have realized that. That was a mistake. Okay. Well, let's just continue with the columns. That's annoying. Okay. Piled image, and we will end with ender. I should have realized there was no R in the grid. Okay. Well, I mean, we ended with 6. Would have had 7 otherwise, so not too bad, but there you go. So let me know if you have a better idea for a 2-word food start. That was ChatGPT's suggestion. But today we ended up with pupil, anima, splay, siege, ender, passe, unpin, piled, image, and layer. So some interesting words in there, but let me know how your solve went this week. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more.